friends, happy holidays, happy Vlogmas. Welcome to my channel if you are new. Today is Friday, which means it's dessert day. So I am going to be making dessert and Christmas cookies all at once. So I was looking through all the elaborate Christmas cookies that I want to make, and I'm afraid it's a little bit too early. So I'm going to go ahead and make what I always make every year. I make chocolate cookies, chocolate chip cookies, and I'm going to make chocolate chip cookies. This is the same chocolate chip cookie that I've made before. It's on the back of the bag of Wegmans chips. I'll leave, of course, all that info below. And then the chocolate chip cookies, I just kind of make up. I just take some of the flour out, add some cocoa. Obviously, I'll tell you what I'm doing below. But before we get to that, I do have this little doohickey. What was this called? It was called Little Elf. I found it on Clickbait from Amazon, and it slides over wrapping paper and slices it. There's like a little blade there. I don't know if you can see. So, Paul's over here. What do you got? Your horn, yeah. Good job. So all of Matt's presents came yesterday. I have everything, and I figure I'll quick wrap those before he gets home. So we're gonna wrap his presents, and then we're gonna make some cookies. I'm gonna bake some off for us, but a majority of them I'm gonna throw in the freezer, and we're gonna bake closer to when I do cookie trays for friends and family. So let me put the little munchkin down for a nap, and then we'll be back. Surprise, we are owners of a minivan. So as you can see, literally after I filmed my intro, I put Paul down and the dealer called me, and it was a Friday afternoon, so I thought he was literally just calling me to say like, no news is good news kind of thing, or just checking in. So he calls to tell me that they had the Toyota Sienna model I wanted and actually the color that I wanted. He didn't even tell me about that before. He didn't know it was coming in, but it came in, and it just happened that Matt was getting off early that Friday. So I called him, he was on his way home, and literally he came home and we were like, what do we want to do? So we woke Paul up from his nap, we packed up all our stuff, unpacked the car as much as we could, and jetted off to Toyota. So we ended up getting it. I am thrilled. I was hoping to go driving around with it today, but we're at the dealership for probably about 4 hours yesterday doing everything. So just kind of decompressing, getting caught up from yesterday. I had a couple projects that I wanted to do yesterday that I didn't get to do. That's what I'm gonna do right now. And yeah, so Matt is home. I was hoping to wrap his presents when he wasn't home. So he is outside playing with the minivan, setting up stuff or whatever. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap his presents. I'm going to try a smaller roll of I almost call this toilet paper, of wrapping paper. And we're gonna try one of these Little Elf doodads and see if it helps cut the paper or not. So I did say that I do a system of paper where all of us are like one color, but I have a bunch of these that have like just a little bit of paper left. So Matt is hopefully going to use up some. So I'll put labels on his. And then we're gonna start the cookie dough, get that in the fridge. I'm going to or freezer. I'm probably going to cook off a bunch of them just for us to have today. And then, yeah, so let me stop talking, turn around and get wrapping. So this little guy actually worked really, really well. As you noticed, when I tried to wrap the other presents, the first 2 rolls I took out, they had no more wrapping paper on them. So now I'm down to the 1 mega roll I talked about in the other video, and I have 1 Well, actually this one, I have 2 left, so that's a good thing. I'm not complaining. It looked like the trick to this was to pull it towards you, as you saw. And this actually worked better than my little, what is this? I have a little Scotch cutter that cuts paper too. I was using that to kind of make the paper smaller to fit, and this kept getting snagged. This is Dollar Tree or Dollar Store wrapping paper, so it's very thin and it's kind of hard for these things to cut. The bigger paper that I have from BJ's, I guarantee this would cut even better. This one slices through it like nothing, so this is going to be pretty cool. Once I get the roll down, my roll from BJ's is too fat, so once I use more of it, this will fit on it. So this is pretty cool. I like this. It was not expensive at all. I'll link it below. It came with a 2-pack, so I have actually 2 wrapping paper bins, one for Christmas and then one for like everything else, birthdays and celebrations. So I'll put one in each bin. Let me clean up and we'll make some cookies. Oh, also you would notice that I'm not showing you what these presents are because they're for my husband who does subscribe to this channel. So I do not want him to know what they are. Okay, so this is the chocolate chip cookie dough that I've made before. On the back of this very old Wegmans brand chocolate chip, I have the recipe linked before. I've made this is the same dough I've made a couple times. So like I said, I'm gonna make chocolate chip cookies out of this. We're gonna scoop them all, get them in the freezer. Then I'm gonna make the same batch and I'm just gonna modify, take out some flour and add some cocoa powder. I'm gonna make chocolate chip cookies. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm just going to do normal operations. I'm gonna add my butter and sugar. So this is 1, 2 sticks of very soft butter. If you're not in the United States, 2 sticks of butter is 1 cup of butter. I'm just gonna get my paddle attachment here and get this whipping on low speed. Perfect, and now I'm gonna add my sugars. There's 1/2 cup. I'm just using a 1/2 cup measure because it fits better in my brown sugar container. But this is a cup of packed brown sugar and then 1/2 cup of white sugar. And now we're gonna blend this for just a few minutes till it's nice, light, and fluffy. And then I'm going to go ahead. I've talked about this mixer, how much I hate this mixer, just because it's a KitchenAid and it's over 10 years old. The bowl like doesn't fit right. It doesn't lock, so if it, like when I turn on, it knocks. The pin comes out of the head. What else is this thing? The locking mechanism doesn't work anymore. I just really want it to break so that I can get a new one. But I'm just taking the bowl out just so I can really scrape it and get everything off the bottom. So get that back on there. Mix that for a sec. So now this is where I do something a little weird. I add my leaveners and salt now instead of with the flour. This is 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of baking powder. And I do that because my baking powder and baking soda, wait, what did I say? That was 1 teaspoon of baking soda I just put in, not powder. But it can get lumpy, and by beating it with the butter, it helps break up all those lumps instead of sifting it. It's one less thing I have to wash. Scrape again. So this is 1 egg, 2 eggs. If I was making a cake, I would definitely add these one at a time with the mixer on low so the batter doesn't separate. But with cookie dough, I don't really care. Once you put the flour in, it kind of all comes together. I'm also going to use this opportunity to add my 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. And then the weird ingredient, in my opinion, 2 tablespoons of water. I just looked at the recipe. It was actually supposed to be 1 teaspoon of vanilla and I added 2. It's fine. All right, let's give this a mix till the egg is blended. Beautiful. Now we're gonna add our flour. So that's gonna be 1, 2.5 cups, again, of all-purpose flour. And then I'm going to mix this on low, just for a few seconds till it's almost combined. Okay, so now I'm going to add an entire bag of mini chips. I like mini chips in my chocolate chip cookies. And this bag is a little smaller. It's from Enjoy Life. This is 10 ounces of mini chips. And then I have this same brand, Enjoy Life. I get these from Thrive. This is from a couple weeks ago, Thrive order. This is a 10-ounce bag of semi-sweet mega chunks. We're gonna add half this bag. You can measure, I'm just eyeballing. And then, because this is the holidays, this is not gonna stay for me. I'm gonna use these sprinkles and this sprinkles, because these are, I only have these types of mixed sprinkle ones, but I want to make them holiday-ish. So these are like, I don't even know how you describe those. Discs, I guess. And then these are the classic I'm from New Jersey, so I call these Jimmies. I'm gonna add those. You can see there's not that many left. So I'm gonna add both of those. Okay. Now I'm gonna mix this on low just till everything kind of combines. That's it. So let me get this off. I'll mix the rest by hand with the spatula. See how that like just comes right off? Oh, let me get this out of the way. Okay, so here's my delicious dough. It looks amazing. I mean, like, how yum does that look? Oh God, the shadows are awful in here. So what I'm going to do, I did say I'm gonna cook some of these off, but I like to refrigerate my dough or freeze my dough before I do that. So I'm gonna scoop all of this onto a pan and then we'll move on to the chocolate cookies. Okay, so that recipe fills up an entire sheet tray. You can see that they are really close together. I don't care if they touch a little bit. I just don't want them over touching because then it is harder to break them up. I'm basically just putting them in the freezer for like, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes till they're hard. And then I'll put them in a Ziploc bag. And these will bake at 375 for I think 12 minutes or something like that. I'll list everything below in the description. So let me get these in the freezer. I'll just scrape out my bowl with my rubber spatula and then we'll start the chocolate ones. Okay, cookie dough number 2. This is the chocolate one. I just scraped out the bowl. You can see it's dirty. 2 sticks of butter. Let's just whip that for a second. And then we'll add the sugars. So that was 1 cup of brown sugar, half a cup of white sugar. And after I do that butter sugar, I like to give it just a really good scrape because a lot of the butter sticks on the bottom. So let's add our leaveners. That's 1 teaspoon of baking soda, 1 teaspoon of salt. And then because cocoa powder can be lumpy, I'm gonna go ahead and add it in now. So like I said, I'm making this up as I go along. So I'm adding a half a cup of cocoa powder. The recipe is 2.5 cups of all-purpose flour. So now I will just use 2 cups of all-purpose flour because I substitute that half for the cocoa. And then we'll just blend this for a minute. And just like after the butter and sugar, I'm gonna give this a really good scrape. I'm trying to get all that stuff off that bottom void of the KitchenAid mixer, if you know what I mean. I probably should have used a stiffer spatula. This one's kind of flexible. It's fighting me. So now I'm gonna go ahead and add my 2 eggs, 2 tablespoons of water. Let's not mess this up this time. 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then let's just let that go for a couple seconds. Perfect. Again, scraping everything off the bottom and trying to get all the stuff off the beater too. So here's 2 cups of all-purpose flour, and we'll just let this go on low just for a sec. Okay, not fully combined, but that's okay. That's what I want. I'm gonna mix it a little bit more in a sec. So I'm going to add that other half bag of the mega chocolate chunks. I'm going to add, what is this one? An 11-ounce bag of the Ghirardelli white chocolate. And then I'm going to use up these sprinkles. You probably can't see it from that far away. They're little itty bitty candy canes. They're supposed to be peppermint, but they're so insanely mild you don't really taste them. But I thought the red would look nice in here with the white chocolate chips. And I get to use it up. So I'm just gonna mix these till it's all combined. Okay, so now this one's ready to go for scooping. Oh my, look at my belly. It's totally in the picture. So again, same order of operations. I'm just gonna scoop them out on this tray and we're gonna pop them in the freezer. Once they're frozen, we'll put them in bags.